Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to A Gathering Place, a gathering of change makers impacting the Gola community, the African American community. We are so excited to have you join us today because we have a great show to look forward to. We are going to be meeting Jocelyn Patterson, founder and creative director of Gola Sweetgrass Collections. And if she gonna correct me on that because she said Angola and drop the A-N. But y'all, we're going to be right back in a few seconds, right after our show opening. Let's jump into learning more about entrepreneurship and a shoemaker, y'all. A shoemaker. And you can't wait to see this. We'll see you in a moment.
Hello, I'm Marilyn Hemingway, and welcome to A Gathering Place. I said, I'm stepping back because we have young voices who want to be heard and they're moving on something.
Branding is really important to you and your business.
Even a basic type of technology, you learn it all.
And people are
Good question.
Well, welcome back, everyone, and let's just get to it because I'm so excited. We're going to hear about this. And yes, I have my shoes. I have my sandals. All right, y'all, let's bring on the creative director and founder of Gola Sweetgrass Collections, Miss Jocelyn Patterson. Jocelyn!
Hi, Marilyn. Hi,
How
Gathering
you
Place.
doing? I'm so excited to have you here.
I am too. I'm excited. To talk about my brand.
Okay, so we said what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk first about your entrepreneurship journey, your personal journey, and then we'll go into the shoe collection. But I must say that I know what's about 3 or 4 years ago that you told me about what you wanted to do with sweetgrass and shoes. And you've been on a journey. You have stuck with it. I'm so proud of you and just so excited to bring you here. But enough, I just want to kind of set that up. So enough about what I know and everything. Tell us, what started you on the entrepreneurship journey? What was the light bulb moment? And why sandals and shoes? Tell us your journey.
Okay. My journey began at Clark Atlanta University, historical Black college and university. Yes, that's where the journey began. Not to take anything away from PWIs, but when you attend an HBCU, they really focus on knowing who you are. And more importantly, knowing where you've been, where you've come from. And that's the only way you can, really move forward in any path that you decide on taking. So Clark Atlanta University's mantra is find a way or make one. And the entrepreneurship really began on the campus of the Atlanta University Center, which is Morris Brown, Morehouse, Spelman, and Clark Atlanta University. And it used to be the Theological Seminary, but I'm not sure if that's part of the AUC anymore. But everyone had some kind of side hustle. Everyone was either a DJ or, even though we attended college, we attended classes, everyone was getting their hair braided. Someone was frying chicken. Someone always had some type of gift for gab. And in the meantime, as you're attending schools, you start to support your roommate's business, your classmates' business. I'm braiding hair. Around that time, sew-ins were becoming very, popular within the mainstream of our beauty. And so I had to find, and then I decided to major in radio, television, film with a concentration in public relations. So a lot of working in television and film and learning about communications, it requires you to have entrepreneurial spirit, entrepreneurial attitude. So even when I began working in corporate America, I always had a side gig or a side hustle. Rather, my first side business was an errand runner. I used to run errands for the elderly and also for people that lived in this particular condominium. And that was like my first gig. I still kept a 9-to-5 job. So my entrepreneurship really began as me always trying to learn more and gain more knowledge. And that came from working 9 to 5. And then on the weekends, I'll run errands, or after work, I'll run errands for these businesses. And then it turned into event planning. One of the people that I worked with that I used to run errands for needed an event planned. So that turned into me partnering with one of my classmates, and we started an event planning company. And we ran, did small events for different organizations, for different individuals. So my entrepreneurship spirit has always been there. Have I always considered it to be a business? No. And that's where the steps to take your side hustle or your side gig and make it a full business. I always kept a 9-to-5 job. So I always knew that I had my healthcare covered. I had some good retirement benefits because I worked in banking, and I knew that I was getting a paycheck every 2 weeks. So if these side hustles did not work, then I always knew I had a paying job. I would say the light bulb moment came when, I'll say about probably 2011, I was living in LA, and I just kind of got tired of banking. Things have changed. I mean, I was making pretty good money, but it just was never my passion. It was never what I wanted to do. And so I began this journey of a purpose-driven life. I wanted to live a life where I feel like I had some sense of purpose. And although I was making good money and banking, I was, living in Los Angeles, it just was not fulfilling me. So it started with, what am I passionate about? What do I love to do that I can turn into a business? And shoes. I've always loved shoes. I come from a family that loves shoes. We spend money on shoes. We got many pairs of shoes. One of my ways of connecting to my mom was, my grandmother raised me, but my mom would come holidays, in between spring breaks, things like that. But the excitement I would have for her is to see what she's bringing. Like, what is she packing? What does she pack in her suitcase that I can take? So it would always be a pair of shoes. I would always go in her suitcase and look for, and at that time we weren't the same size yet. So I would try on her shoes. Of course, they're too big for me, but my mom always just had beautiful shoes. And then she lived in New York. So I knew that she was getting them from some of these places that maybe people I see on TV go to, like Saks and Bloomingdale's. And once I got to a size 10 and we were wearing the same size, forget about it. Like Christmas, Easter, any of the holidays that she would come, I am going straight for her suitcase to see what she has, what shoes she brought, and what earrings and what accessories I can take. But then it went even further than that, because I started looking at the construction of a shoe. What, the soles, the leathers, the heels. It just sparked my interest. So when I started it was just something for me to do, to try to figure out, this is what I wanted. Can I turn this into a business? And I started an online shoe store on Facebook. And I started selling shoes on Facebook. And this was in 2011, 2012. So that just tells you how far I've come from that point. And I started going downtown LA, buying shoes wholesale, popular brands like Steve Madden, Nine West, Chinese Laundry, all the popular brands that you would see in the malls. And I would go to trade shows, or I would go to downtown, and I would just buy some shoes that are trendy, that are in style, shoes that I would like to wear. And I started selling them on Facebook. And before I knew it, I started getting orders more so than I thought I would get. So that prompted me to say, hey, maybe I need to take this off the Facebook platform and put it onto an actual website. That way I can start taking credit cards. In the midst of that, I was doing shoe parties. Those type of parties were really popular back then. And so I started having shoe parties where I would bring my shoes. I started doing vendor events in LA. I was finally, I was finally doing what I was like, okay, I like this. I like selling shoes. But it came to a point where I would go to trade shows, I would go downtown LA, and all the brands would be selling the same type of shoe. It would be the same trend that's out for that year. And all of them, every booth I go to, I have those same trend shoes. So I started getting interested in how can I design shoes? So I would say that was probably about 2012. And I had a conversation with a girl in Vegas at the Magic Trade Show. And I asked her, I was like, how did you get into business? And she was like, I have no background in design. I have no background in fashion. I didn't attend a fashion school. My background is radio, television, film. And I was like, oh, wow, that's my background. I have my degree in public relations. And she told me about this school in Italy, in Milan, called Ars Sartoria. And she said that it's a 12-week program. They teach you how to sketch. They teach you how to develop patterns and how to take your shoe from a sketch to a full production. And so I did some research on his school, did a little, networking, and saw that, oh, wow, a lot of people have gone to this school to study footwear. And in 2013, I applied, I got accepted. And I moved to Milan for 6 months and learned how to construct a shoe from sketch. Now, I had no background in sketching. I have a creative background, but I'm not an artist by gift. Like, I have to train. I'm a technical artist. I don't have the ability just to sketch and make it look like how I want it to look. It takes time for me. So I'm technically, I acquired the technical experience, but I'm not a sketch. I don't have that.
Yeah, we're not like the boring artist that just sketch a shoe and then you go to the technical part.
Right.
Yeah, how to make this shoe. Yeah,
exactly.
I understand.
Exactly.
This is fascinating because you're telling us your story, but it's also telling folks that you may not have a certain talent, but you can go and get the knowledge. You can learn.
Yes.
Keep learning. So go ahead, continue.
Yes. Other communities, they do that all the time. It's just not the Black community. It's other communities. They don't have the background. They don't have the experience. Trust me, I've worked in banking. I've sat at many board tables, and I would think I wasn't the smartest person in the room, but come to find out I may be the smartest person in the room. but they have these top exec positions, in corporate. I moved to Italy. I was in a classroom with people from all over the world, all walks of life, all ages. It was me and two other girls in the class that were from the United States. Everyone else was from China, Korea, Denmark, Norway, Russia, Germany. Like, they came from all walks of life. And some were sent because they were in shoe design already, so their job was sending them. Some came because they wanted to get the experience, and some were just like me, who just was not sure if this was something they wanted to do, but just wanted to figure out if I can do it. And that was, so for 12 weeks, I lived in Milan. I soaked in the culture, the food. I met some really great people that I'm still in touch with, still in contact with to this day. And when I came back, that's when, like, I think the real path was like, how can I take all this experience, all this skills that I've got, now what? So it took some time for me to kind of figure out a pathway in this industry, because I didn't know anyone in the footwear industry. I had no contacts. I had no HBCU contacts, no network, nothing. It was just me, just like, well, where do I need to be? And so New York. That's the fashion capital of the United States. So I was like, well, I need to be in New York to try to see what I can do. And I didn't have a job. I was living off my savings. My stepsister lived in New York, and she opened her home to me and was like, well, you can stay here. She had just had a baby. So I was sleeping on the couch and taking care of my stepniece and trying, sending out resumes. LinkedIn was a great source of what I use to try to see who I can connect with. So with LinkedIn, I would send just cold emails to people who went to Ars Sartoria. And that's when I started realizing, like, oh, wow, this school is really prestigious, because a lot of people that are in the footwear industry took this same course. So I reached out, I did some cold emails to people and attached my resume, and I got an email back. And it was a girl. This girl, she said, listen, she saw that I went to Arcitoria. She went to Arcitoria. She was like, I don't have anything in my department. She was I can't remember what her position was, but she worked for a luxury shoe designer called Aquazzura. And Aquazzura shoes are like $500 and up. She was like, I don't have anything in Aquazzura, but there is a designer downstairs on the floor below that is looking for an intern. And I'm like, intern? I'm 32, 33 years old, you know, like I done graduated from college. I done worked in professional, you know, workforce, and it's unpaid. So it was like, okay. So she forwarded my resume to her, and Heather was her name. She sent me an email and was like, hey, I would like to meet you. I had a CV and a little a Wix portfolio of all the work that I did in Milan, all my sketches, all my patterns and things like that. So she took a look at that, and she herself had attended Arcitoria. So she was like, okay, you want to come in, interview, you know. So I came, went, met her. She was like, I can't pay you, but I can offer you, you know, train fare and a stipend for lunch every day. And I was like, okay. So I took the internship unpaid. But what I learned from that is that she was an up and coming designer, but she was an established shoe designer. Like she designed for Calvin Klein, she designed for Jack. Like she was a freelance designer and she was starting her own brand. So I figured, well, this would be a good way to come in at the ground and kind of work my way up, just, you know, because she's coming in just at the ground level too with her brand. And so I interned for her, and it was a good experience, but it was also a bad experience. Not gonna lie. I interned with her for 4 months. But it put me into spaces that I needed to be to network. Mm-hmm. And I took that as a lesson. Like, okay, I'm not getting paid. She is covering my train fare. She is covering my lunch stipend every day. But at least I'm in the spaces where I need to be. And that pretty much put me on a trajectory of where I am today. I started networking with people from Steve Madden, Sam Edelman's, his office, one of his offices was right across the hallway. So I would see Mr. Elderman and his wife, Mrs. Elderman, come in the building. I got real good with their warehouse guy. He was a Jamaican guy. And so I'm just like hitting up this office, that office, this office while I'm interning with her and establishing my own network. And that pretty much was how I saw that, okay, I see the vision now. I see where I'm going with this. Mm-hmm. And I took that 4-month experience. And after that 4 months, things happened, office politics happens. It didn't work out as I hoped. But from that experience put me in a space where I was able to network and freelance and found a sales job for a brand that was based in Nigeria, but was trying to come into the United States. So I left that internship and met with this Nigerian brand, Kenyan brand. And I told them, I gave them my experience, and they were like, okay, we're trying to get in the US market. What can you do? And my sales background from working in banking and the information in the space and the network, and I just did within 4 months, I kind of was like, all right, yeah, I can get you in the US market. I had no idea what the hell I was going to do, but I was like, yeah, I can get you in the US market. But I know I needed that experience. I know I needed to get out there. Yeah. And so New York Brooklyn has a strong, New York period has a strong African influence, has a strong African network. So I knew that there were stores out there. I knew that there were businesses out there that really would like this shoe to be in their store. Mm-hmm. So I started from that. I really started just as an independent sales rep. I was freelancing. It was a 1-year contract. And I just started same thing I did to try to get into the footwear industry. I just started kind of sending the press release out, sending the images out, and lo and behold, someone emailed me back. and they were like, listen, we have a pop-up shop. We would really like for you to have a vendor for this brand. And from there, it went from that pop-up shop in Brooklyn to this pop-up shop in Harlem to this pop-up shop in Queens, all African-centric. And I was selling their shoes. And so, of course, they were elated. They were happy because they're all the way in Kenya sending their shoes to me, and I'm selling them here in the States. So I did that for about a year. That led me into another contract with the brand from London. So I don't know how my name just started getting sent around to people. And so I helped a London brand that was trying to break into the US market with their shoe line. And I did that for 6 months on a 6-month contract. So things started to kind of come to fruition for me on that end. But I started feeling like, wow, I'm making everybody's dreams come true. Like I'm helping everybody get their brand into the market.
Yeah.
When am I going to, when is it my turn? When am I going to get into this? Brand? And so in 2014, I was in New York, I was freelancing, the money was starting to dry up. When you freelance, some months you get your check, some months you don't get your check. So it was like, well, I can't do this no more because I'm spending $100 to $200 a day, every other day in New York, just to eat, just to live, just to survive. So I made the decision to move back to South Carolina. My grandmother had left the home. I'm still sleeping on a couch with my stepsister's apartment. So I was like, you know what? I want to start my own thing. I want to start my own brand. And I moved down here to South Carolina and had no clue what I was going to start. Just knew that I wanted it to have my name on it. And I wanted it to, be a legacy of me. And that was in 2016, 2017. I was pretty broke at that moment. Like I had no more money. All my savings was gone. All my inherited little money that I got from my grandmother when she passed, that was gone. It was like, okay, well, I'm broke now. Let me just go back home to Georgetown.
I got you.
Yeah. So get down here and I'm like, all right, well, I got to find a job. So I did a job here, call center job there, just something so I could pay my bills and kind of get back, acclimated into society again, into a 9-to-5 society after freelancing for 2.5, 3 years. And so found a job working in healthcare but I purposely wanted to be in Mount Pleasant, Charleston. So I wasn't looking on the beach side, Myrtle Beach or Horry County or anywhere out there. I knew I wanted to be in Charleston because I knew that the likelihood of me finding a good paying job was probably better in Charleston than Myrtle Beach. So I did. I got a job, started commuting back and forth, going back and forth from Georgetown into Mount Pleasant to work. And on the weekends, I would go downtown Charleston just to shop, just to get out and take in the culture, take in everything that downtown King Street has to offer. And I was on Market Street and I was just kind of walking, looking at all the different vendors. And I just started to see all the basket makers, just all of them, all down the line of Market Street. And it was like, ping, light bulb, like I'm Geechee.
Yeah.
This is part of my culture. So it really was like that light bulb moment, like, oh, I can design this. Like I was like, oh, I could do a Sweetgrass shoe. And that was in 2016, maybe 2017. I might have been already working for like a year. And I said, oh, a Sweetgrass shoe. It's a reflection of my culture. It tells a story. Like it just started everything. My mind just started working instantly when I saw the baskets. And then when I saw the cost of those baskets, and I was like, woo, yeah, $200, $300, $400. I think the smallest one you can get maybe for $75 for the smallest basket. But I really recognized the art in that. And I wanted to show that art to those who may not know anything about the Gullah Geechee culture, or those who may do know, but never seen it in this form. And I started researching, I started meeting with basket makers, gaining a better understanding about Sweetgrass baskets. how hard it is to find these materials to make these baskets, and they're materials from the earth, like the palm tree, the bulrush, the pine needles, the sweetgrass, all these things that they use from Mother Earth are hard to find now because of land being taken over, being built, things are being built on these lands, on these marshes where they get their materials from. So that's truly my research began. So it really was like a year of me just researching about the Gullah Geechee culture. And it's funny, Marilyn, because we grew up in this culture. So you don't hear, I didn't grow up hearing Gullah Geechee, Gullah Geechee, Gullah Geechee, Gullah Geechee all through. I just knew that I knew the cuisine, like I knew our food. I just associated with, that's just how Southern, that's just how we are. That's just how we grew up. It wasn't until I left and I moved to New York and I moved to Atlanta until I realized, wait a minute, this way that I was raised seems to be only within this region. I don't, within this area, the Low Country. And so, I mean, like I heard Gullah Geechee, those terms growing up, but it never really sat with me until I came back here as an adult and was like, oh wow, like this is something that needs to be preserved. And then when you attend the HBCU, of course, you take African History 101 and you learn about the African diaspora and how we all how we all got here. But it's all in one broad history. It wasn't taught in a way where it focused on this particular area of the country, the Low Country, and the Sea Islands of the Low Country. So I was like, I need to figure out, I want to preserve this history. And so it was a year of me just researching. I didn't even think about developing a shoe yet. Didn't even know what I wanted to develop yet. I just know I wanted to gather all the information that I could gather. And then once I was able to figure out, talking to the basket makers, the extent of what I can do and what I cannot do, that's when I started kind of deciding on whether this is going to be just a regular shoe. Is this going to be a boot? Like I started figuring out, well, which style would be best with this sweetgrass. And sandals was the best style that I could sketch to really showcase the sweetgrass. Because if you look at the sandal, I chose a very natural leather, very light colored leather, because I really considered the shoe to be the canvas and the sweetgrass is the art on that canvas. So I chose a really natural color because I wanted the sweetgrass to stand out. I really wanted the sweetgrass to stand out for this is like my signature sandal. I am working on other styles, but this will be the signature sweetgrass sandal that I'm going to be selling. And they are available. You can go to my website right now.
Yes, I'm going to put the website up too, but let's get into the shoe because I'm glad you mentioned that natural look. I love it. And you can wear it. The thing about natural, you can dress it up or down.
Yes.
And I don't have it on right now, but I will put it on in minutes.
And then with leather oxidizes. So it's going to stretch. It is going to darken. It is going to get, into a mold of your foot. So that's another reason why I went with the natural as well, because over time, through wear and tear, it's really going to stretch out and it's really going to darken according to, if you wear it in the rain or if you put it out in the sun or if they get wet or anything like that. So that's really why I chose that natural, because I really wanted the sweetgrass to stand out. Now, eventually I probably will go up to different colors, but still staying on that tan, brown, beige side of the color family. But the sandal, that particular sandal, and why because I had another style, another prototype that was a little bit more closed in, but I just felt like it took away from the sweetgrass circle. And I want other people to know that circle is the beginning of the basket. So the basket starts, the basket starts that small, and then they coil it around and around and around to make it big. But that is the beginning of a basket, that part of the sweetgrass.
So when I opened the box and I opened the wrapping paper and I saw this, you are right. The sweetgrass is what immediately caught my eye. I mean, it stands out. So y'all need to order them so y'all can have that same experience. And, and then, it's 100% genuine leather and
Yes.
everything. It
Yes.
really is. It's a really beautiful shoe, and it does
Yes.
fit my foot well.
Good.
It really, because I have my left foot is my odd foot, I think, and but it fits. But I can see you were right about leather. Leather will bend and become flexible, but it just fit me just right where I know when it molds to my foot, it's not going to be too loose because it's already fitting really. It does. It really.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
really
because
well.
see, I thought about putting like the little elastics on the side to give you a stretch, but then my production manager, he was like, with this particular calf, it's a kid. Kid calf, what they call it. So it's not the big cows, the baby cow. That's where that leather came from. He said with this particular leather, and it's best for it to naturally stretch out, because if you put the elastic on the two little sides, like you see in some shoes, like a little piece of elasticity, it doesn't work for that particular sandal. If I had a different style sandal, that may have worked more. Something that would have been wrapped around your ankle probably would have helped more with that.
That's yeah. Now that you said it, I get you, because usually it's wrapping around your ankle, and you have that little piece of elastic to give you some stretch there. But I can see what he's saying here. Isn't that's just fascinating to me?
Yeah.
So let's go back a little bit, because I was listening to you and the bits and pieces that we're going to pull out first. That my mother taught me growing up, even after college, keep learning to the day you die, whether it's taken. Now we call them webinars, but seminars, workshops, community, college classes, anything. So off and on, even now, I'm online now, taking some certifications and stuff, and that constant learning. So I love that part of your journey, that not only did you go back and learn a craft, because that's what it is. It's a craft to learn how to make shoes, but you took a year to learn about your own culture. And I run into that also. I too have gone through that, because I tell people, no one walks around going, I'm Gullah. No one goes, Gullah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's who we are.
It's who we are.
And I mean, it's the way we cook, speak. And I tell people I'm not fluent, but I can go in different areas. And even if you're fluent in Gullah, what you may say in St. Helena Island, or what you may say in Georgetown and Chalky community or Sandy Island, it's going to be a different dialect to that. So to learn that, and that you took the time to appreciate your culture and see that, wow, this is my culture, then to take the time to learn it before you even start saying, okay, what is it that I want to create? That is just, it's fascinating to me and wonderful. And I hope so many of us will take that time and that lesson in that also, because you could clearly see the influence in the shoe when you can say this circle here is where they begin the basket. And you just look at the shoe and it's beautiful in and of itself, but to know that you took that detail and put it here, then it's like, man, I'm thinking, look at the possibilities now.
Yeah, that's exactly where my mind went as well. And another aspect is that, that name Sweetgrass is used in a lot of businesses, and they don't sell anything that's not even close to Sweetgrass. Like, I had a guy he's an agent, insurance agent. He was telling me about his friend. They have a liquor company called Sweetgrass Liquor. There is a spa. I don't know if it's Georgetown or somewhere around here in Mount Pleasant. It's a Sweetgrass spa, but nothing in relation to Sweetgrass. So I wanted to create a brand where the name of Sweetgrass is in my business name, and that's what I'm selling. I'm selling Sweetgrass. Uh-oh, Marilyn, did you freeze on me? Hello? Uh-oh.
Yeah, we were freezing just a little bit. You're back, Jocelyn.
All right.
Restart the story. You were talking about
I was saying about how
Go
there's
ahead.
so many businesses that have the name Sweetgrass in them, but they don't sell anything Sweetgrass or anything in relation to our culture and our community. There's a Sweetgrass vodka. Sweetgrass, nail and spa, and it's like, well, I mean, I get the name is Sweetgrass is local to the low country, but at the same time, it's like, but you're not selling anything sweetgrass. Nothing really in relation to sweetgrass.
It's a bit of cultural appropriation
Mm-hmm.
because sweetgrass is known because the culture created sweetgrass baskets, and it has become so. I'm not going to use the word popular. It's not the word. It's so embedded in low country,
right?
That people just, oh, it sounds good. I'm hearing it all over the place. Let me use it. But they're not understanding the context of why they're hearing it all over the place. It's because for hundreds of years, women and men made sweetgrass baskets. And then after the Civil War, they start selling on the side of the street, the road to make money. That's why you're hearing it. Sweetgrass, it would just be another piece of grass.
Right, another piece of grass in the low country.
If it wasn't for the culture and the use of it.
Absolutely. So I want to make sure that my brand, that Gola Sweetgrass, we are selling sweetgrass, and we're based here in Charleston. And it's a way that I am trying to preserve the history and the legacy of the Gullah Geechee culture and the Sea Islands along this coast. When you go to when you come into Mount Pleasant, it's all the basket makers on a nice, good, sunny day. You'll see them starting from Awanda all the way into town. I think I probably stopped at every one of those baskets to talk with them within that year of me doing my research. I think I've stopped on both sides, going south and northbound on 17. I've probably stopped at every basket maker's little booth and asked them and talked to them, and that was what I got from my research. Another thing is, it's being passed down. There's not many families left that are passing this down from generation to generation, and our youth are not really taking to that craft as maybe as the previous generation or the prior generation before. So I think putting it in this art, in this craft, such as footwear, may bring in a younger audience, a more youthful audience that are interested in supporting a brand, but at the same time preserving their history as well. And that was a conversation I had with my basket maker about the youth, how the youngest are. It's not being passed down from generation to generation like it used to. And also that, they don't have an interest in it as well as they should. But I think putting it into this form of art, into a footwear, a sandal, I think will bring in that youthfulness, because everybody likes to look cute when they wear sandals. So
that's right. And it's interesting that you said that, because what I have noticed, even with the sweetgrass basket makers, they're now, first of all, it started out utilitarian. It was used in the rice production. Then after the Civil War, it became something to sell. And if you could get your hands on older stuff, now they're museum pieces, etc. But now what I see with the younger generation coming in, they're starting from a point of, this is art.
Yes.
It's not just I'm taking over from grandma or grandpa. I'm learning the craft from them.
Yeah.
But I'm coming from a point of place of, it's an art piece. So now I'm seeing more and more where they literally understand the artistry of it.
That is true.
And so you coming in with the shoe and understanding the appeal to younger generations, I think that is actually a very good direction.
Yeah.
That's how the younger folks are going to come in and learn it and then take it to another level. And that actually speaks, that's our culture. Because we are an evolutionary culture. We took, under the worst of circumstances, we took English, Spanish, different African dialects, and even in English, you have Welsh, Scottish, all of that. And we created a whole new language. And then we took the foods of West Africa and combined it with European foods and cooking and Native American, and evolved into what's the foundational cuisine of American cuisine. So that's the culture. It's an
Exactly.
evolutionary culture. And if we understand that, then you can teach it to younger folks and they're going to take it and run with it. Like you did with the shoes. You saw a different vision, but it's embedded in the culture. And that's what the culture is about.
That's what it's all about.
Culture.
Yeah. That's why I always go back. I always go back to Clark Atlanta University's. Our mantra is, "I'll find a way or make one."
There you go. I'm gonna put it. So the Gullah Geechee Chamber of Commerce, our slogan is "Making something from nothing."
Same sentiment. That has been instilled at Clark Atlanta University. If you don't learn anything, you will learn that you will find a way or make one. And that was ingrained in us from freshman year on. So, I mean, I got t-shirts that say it, we say it, and when we go to homecomings, it's just what we think of. It's like, oh, well, it's almost the same time. Like, I also believe in, there's no seat at the table for me. Well, I'm gonna build my own table, and then I'm gonna pull up the seats of the people that need to be at the table. That's just always been my mentality. Like, I don't need I would like a seat at your table, but I'm gonna build my own table, and then I'm gonna pull the seats up of the people that should have been sitting at your table with me. Definitely. And that's why I appreciate being program coordinator with Good Enterprises, because I'm helping and we pretty much help low to moderate income individuals, help them start their businesses. So if you have a business idea or if you're growing your business, so at the same time that I am growing and starting my business, I am helping other people start and grow their business. One of the how I got in touch with my production manager was through the Good Enterprise Community Business Academy. I mean, I joined that class in fall 2019. I graduated, and one of the things you do, you get a coach after you graduate. So after 12 weeks, when I finished the program, I was assigned a coach for 90 days. And my coach worked in the industry as well, in retail industry. And he knew someone in Guatemala that may be able to help me. And so he put me in touch with my production manager, Ian, in Guatemala. And Ian knew a shoemaker that's from Italy. He's from Milan, but lived in Guatemala. And so I had an opportunity to go to Guatemala and meet him and see my production and see what was being done. And all of that has been done through this organization that I'm now program coordinator for. So it's come back full circle for me that this program helped me, put me in a space where I needed to be to meet the people I needed to meet in order to produce my shoe. So I'm really excited, to be real excited for Gola Sweetgrass, but I'm also as well excited to be program coordinator for a program that has helped me tremendously in starting my business, which is the Good Enterprise Community Business Academy. So, but Gola, it's just the beginning of Gola. I want people to know that Gola it's a shoe brand, but it's also a lifestyle brand. And the lifestyle that I'm trying to, and the community that I'm trying to bring awareness to and also preserve is the Gullah Geechee community.
So does that mean that you're going to have more than just sandals and shoes? You're going to have accessories?
Yes, it will always be a sandal collection, but I will be moving into accessories like handbags, earrings, bracelets, things of that nature, but all based within, it'll all be Sweetgrass. So I'm going to stick with I have 2 more styles to come out with the sandal collection, but my footwear will always be a sandal collection. And then I hope to expand to handbags and accessories. Yes.
Very good. Very good. So, I did my video when I got the box, and I got to show you because I love the packaging. I'm working on some packaging now. That's so right now I'm fascinated by packaging because I'm working on some packaging with my business. So we had the shoes, and then we had the packaging, and then my size, the tab with the size of the shoe. And then the bag, which
and just to let you know, those bags are recycled denim.
Oh, I love that.
They're recycled denim, and they're from a village of women in Guatemala that made them.
This is because coming up this coming Saturday is my Gullah Geechee Environmental and Energy conference, and it is about part of it. I don't think we're going to be doing it this time, but in the future, talking about in business how you can be environmentally conscious, reduce, reuse, recycle. I love the fact that this is recycled denim because that's what our culture is about.
Yeah.
You know, reduce, reuse, recycle. I tell my collaborative partners who are environmental organizations who tend to be majority white and older, but they're trying to change. And I tell them, my culture, the Gullah Geechee culture, we've always been environmentalists. We just don't use your terminology.
Yeah, we don't
We
use
had to reduce, reuse, recycle, and we think that way.
Yeah.
So that makes you an environmentalist.
Yeah. No, I was very conscious of making sure, because I didn't want to do shoe boxes at all, but I understood with packaging, I had to do some kind of box. Like it's the way how, you know, to make sure I protect my sandals. But I wanted to be as environmentally responsible as I could. So when Ian, my production manager, when he told me, because he works with the women in the villages, and he creates, he helps sell their artisans, all these artisans that are in these villages. So a lot of times, if you go in Anthropology or what's the name of that other place, West M or ZZ Galleries, a lot of those little arts and artisans and little things he's probably responsible for getting them in the stores because that's what he does. But I told him I wanted to be as environmentally responsible as I could. I didn't want to use shoe boxes. I wanted to use a shoe bag. So he told me about this company. It's called New Denim, and they go into not only recycled denim, but they go into the landfills of trash. And they pull things out that can be recycled, repurposed, reused, like he said, and they create art out of that. And then he sells them in the States. So he has an understanding of being environmentally responsible as well. So when he told me about the recycled denim, I was like, perfect. I would really love to use that for my shoe bags. And it's a little bit more than what I wanted to spend, but when you're an e-commerce site, when you're just selling online, you don't have a brick and mortar store, your packaging is everything. It is what sets you apart from other brands, from other sites. So I really wanted to, you know, like you said, I really wanted to present Gola, these Gola sandals, the Myrna sandal is what they're called. I really wanted to present the Myrna sandal as this is as art. So the box had to reflect that. The shredded craft paper had to reflect that. And the fact that I use, you know, recycled denim as a shoe bag, it just all came together as, you know, like you said, just wanted to be, you know, environmentally responsible. You can break down the box, you can recycle the paper, you can recycle the box, the shredded paper you can reuse for other things, you know. So that I was very conscious about that when designing the packaging. Yeah.
And I'm very conscious of that because with the chamber, that was the thing that I've pushed and talked to some of my members who one loves elements, actually uses a lot of glass packaging for the Bath and Body Works, but you can also, once you use it, you send it back in, you get a discount on the next purchase. So it's really thinking these things through, and it's clear that you thought it through. The impact in that part of the brand. Of thinking it through, not just I'm making a shoe, but what's the impact on our environment? And that's a cultural foundational point of our culture also. So that's really cool. And that's why I wanted people to hear this story. It's a fascinating journey that you are on.
And I'm still on this journey.
So couple questions. So Myrna, I know why Myrna, but why did you name the shoe Myrna?
Myrna is the name of my grandmother. And my grandmother raised me. My grandmother was my best friend. She was my biggest cheerleader. Unfortunately, she did not live long enough. She saw the beginnings of what I was trying to do, but she did not live long enough in order to see what has happened since then. Like, she knew I wanted to go to Milan. She knew I wanted to do this program, but it wasn't until 6 months later after she passed away. So Myrna, to me, not only she's my grandmother, she was woman that was dedicated to her community. She was a nurse at Georgetown Memorial Hospital for a number of years, and she served her community. I can remember, you know, I've always lived in a hot kitchen. There's never been a moment when that kitchen was cool, especially during her meat pie era when she was making her meat pies. That was, you know, real popular amongst the community. But I named my sandal in memory of her, in memory of my grandmother, because she was there in the beginning. She did, you know what I wanted to do. I had already left corporate America. That was a big scare for her because I was leaving a good paying job. And she was just like, well, what now? What was this?
Did you tell her it was scary for you too?
Yeah, it was scary. Yeah, like, grandma, this is scary for me too. I don't know how this is going to work. I just know that I need to be living a more purpose-driven life. And unfortunately, she didn't live for me to see this, but I know she's my angel. I know she's watching over me. But I knew that whatever I was going to design, the name of my first shoe or sandal was going to be Myrna. So in memory of my grandmother, in memory of my grandmother, that's why I named the sandal after her.
So how often do you plan on doing a new shoe coming out? Like once a year, or I mean, we need to get on a schedule.
Right. Well, a full collection is 5 to 6 styles. I started with the one sandal for budget purposes, but also because we're going through COVID, it slowed up everything. Like my production, everything got backed up about 9 months. So I went with the one sandal just to see how everything would go, because you just didn't know if it was going to shut down. You didn't know, if the factory is going to be exposed to COVID. You know, it was a lot of unknown in the beginning of last year. So I kind of just, kind of put everything on hold. And so when everything kind of halfway started opening up, is when I was like, well, let me just start with this one style, because I'm really not sure what all I'm going to be able to do under these new constraints, under this new normal that we're living in. So it'll be one style, that sandal style, but I'm going to incorporate different colors. And I'm going to do 2 more styles. So by spring of next year, I'll roll out another style. And then by summer of next year, I'll roll out the second style. And based on how everything goes there, will determine if I'll do a 4th and 5th style. Because normally 5 styles is considered a collection. Handbags and accessories, I'm not moving into that yet until I get a better handle on my brand and on the sandals, and then I can move on to accessories. So look out for a new style, probably coming in spring of 2022.
All right, so y'all got time to save your money, because I am, and the website's at the bottom. It's been scrolling, so y'all write that down. GolaSweetgrass.com, and go order your shoe now. And if you haven't, because we're going to support.
Let me tell you, they're selling out. They're going. If you wear a size 10 or 11, those sizes, I'm down to probably maybe just 2 more.
Ooh, I'm glad I got mine.
Yeah, those sizes I don't have any more, a lot left. I think I have like maybe 2 size 11s and probably maybe 3 or 4 size 10s. So,
well, let's hope that they sell out today. So if y'all better go down and get those shoes. And that's not just for women, men. Buy those shoes, the good Christmas presents.
Yes.
Please order it now.
I encourage everyone this holiday season, and we're doing this along with what I call my day job as program coordinator. We are encouraging everyone to buy local, shop local for this holiday season. That's the mission of Low Country Local First, which is the organization and nonprofit that I work for, which through the Good Enterprise Initiative. So yes, please, I encourage shop local, buy local. When I'm on Facebook, I see a lot of the local community selling anything from cupcakes to candles to bracelets to charms to earrings. I mean, everything. There's a lot of small businesses in the Georgetown community. And I mean, I know it's easy to go to Amazon, go online. I'm not a big fan of Amazon like that. I just feel like they're monopolizing small businesses in a sense.
Not like
what you said, like you, yeah. Because a lot of people don't know the back. Like I don't ever plan to be an Amazon seller. A lot of people don't know the back side, the back end of their business. And how they really, drive out mom and pop shops a lot. So, I mean, I'm not knocking anyone that does shop on Amazon. I do shop, but that's not my first go-to. I will always look for something local. So I encourage everyone this holiday season to please, please, please support local businesses and Black-owned businesses and Black female-owned businesses.
Well, this is the place to say that, because that's why we started Gullah Geechee Chamber, to support small businesses, in particular in the Gullah community. But we support all small businesses because small businesses, they're the lifeblood of communities. And we need to keep them around and create new ones. And that's why we're so excited to see what you have done, your journey and everything. This has been fascinating. And we've got like 5 minutes left. Okay. And I want to ask you, what advice? You said some really good things throughout this entire show, but what particular advice would you give someone starting this entrepreneurship journey?
The advice I would give is to have a plan, even if you don't have the wherewithal to know where you're going with that plan, and to understand that any progress that you make is still progress, whether if it's slow, whether if it's fast. Progress is progress. And I had to, I wanted things to happen quickly in the beginning, but as I started, getting older, and as I started to really understand what it is I'm trying to do, it's all about your progression. And you're not going to progress as fast as you think you should. There's a lot of times I wanted to give up. But if you have a plan, when I mean plan, I mean like you have written it out, you have your vision board, you have your goals, you have to plan it out. And once you plan it out, you have to figure out how you're going to execute it. And there is no timeline on executing on your plan. I've been at this for, I left Italy in 2013, almost 10 years, close enough to 10 years that I've been persistent at making sure I pursue this dream, and not just pursuing this dream, but making sure it has a long lasting legacy. So if I decide if something should happen to me, God forbid, or if I move on, this brand will still be lively on its own. So progress is still progress, no matter how small, no matter how big it is. And dreams, it's one thing to dream, but if you act on it, God will create the path for you. I promise you. I promise you, He will create that path for you. I promise you. Yeah. Because in the darkest moments of my life, and don't get me wrong, I've had a lot of ups and downs personally, and I've gone through a lot in the last 5 years. But I've always put it in His hands. When I can't figure out a way of how to get this done, and it always has happened, may not have happened when I wanted to or how I wanted to, but right on time. And I think this whole past year with dealing with COVID and having to, change some of the things in my plan that I had to change. Like I had to put my old production on hold because I couldn't find a factory no more because they were all closed. So I had no idea. And then I entered this program, I get with this coach, and he puts me in the space that I need to be to make my shoes. And without that, I think if I would have given up, I never would have known that I could have did this, this could have been achieved by me if I would. And trust me, I wanted to give up plenty of times.
Oh, I understand.
I wanted to give up plenty of times, but it was like I have to see this through. And so I say that to everyone who's out there listening. Dreams are not just dreams, and to not be acted on. If you keep dreaming about something, if you keep wishing, hoping, aspiring for a better life, it has to start with you, and it has to start with you coming up with a plan and executing it. Definitely.
That's right. And congratulations. I'm so proud of you. I mean, the words are just so meaningful and impactful. You are, and you understand it once you start those journeys, and you always hear that term to surround yourself with people you want to be like and everything, and that's true.
That is
and
so
when
true.
you get on certain journeys and you start making certain decisions, like-minded folks will actually be attracted to you because they see what you're doing.
And that's what happened with me.
And they say God will clear the way for you. God will remove some people, And God will bring some people in your life, and it seems to attract more of that mindset. And I have to say, has the African American community, with our history and everything, we're not big risk takers. No. And it does take a risk. But the reward is huge. The reward is wonderful. And let me ask you this, and then we'll let you go wrap it up. Do you feel yourself being more confident?
Yes. Confident, not only confident in who I am, which is most importantly, more confident in not so much of being a shoe designer, but just more confident in who I am and what I can offer others in any industry, in any platform, in any space that you put me in. And some may not have that confidence. It may take time to gain that confidence. I kind of sort of always had this confidence. So at some points I might get lost in my journey, but I know that if I keep moving forward, that, that's how you gain more confidence, is that you don't let, what happens, negatively affects you so much that it breaks you down. And I've been in that space, so I know what that feels like, and I know how to crawl yourself out of pain and crawl yourself out of things that were out of your control or you could not control. But what I say to that is to get up and keep going. Get up, keep moving. I stress the vision board, because I do a vision board every year. I don't know if you can see it, but it's in the back behind me. And everything that I've done on my vision board for the last 5 years has come to fruition. And it could be as easy thing as a word. Sweetgrass was on my vision board 2 years ago. A picture of a home, because I hope to be a homeowner again. So you have to visualize it, and then you have to figure out the ways to execute it. But part of that is putting yourself in spaces where like-minded people can give you the network that you need to put together the resources for you to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. So you're absolutely right. And sometimes that requires leaving those who may not share the same values or may not share the same aspirations. Sometimes you have to leave those people behind. And when that happens, then new people come into your life that are like-minded, that are, aspiring, that are entrepreneurial, like you're trying to be. And that's just the balance. That's just the balance that you have to figure out. That's just the balance that you have to find. And no, it's not easy. And, your head may be saying one thing, your heart may be saying another, but God, He's saying something totally different that you don't even know. You didn't even know that you had it in you.
That's very true. That's very true, because confidence teaches you that even if you're in a space where you may not know that space, confidence tells you that I have the ability to know.
Absolutely.
And that changes everything.
Everything.
It does.
Everything.
It's like,
you're right.
That's the difference between confidence and not having that confidence.
Yes.
You could be in new spaces, but I could be here. As long as I show up, I can learn and know. And that's the confidence that's what confidence gives you. You don't have to know everything, but just show up.
Just show up.
Sometimes.
And just show up, and the rest will happen. And will happen.
That's right. Listen and learn. Yeah, very good. But Jocelyn, I have enjoyed this very much. And congratulations again. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you
for having me.
Y'all go to golasweetgrass.com and buy your sandal, because they about to run out.
Size 10s and 11s. They're moving quickly. So thank you so much, Marilyn, for having me. And,
you're welcome.
I really enjoyed the time here, and definitely support Gola Sweetgrass.
I'm going to go ahead and Jocelyn, put you in the waiting room, but hold on, wait for me, because when I sign off, I want to talk to you very quickly about something that I'm working on. But everybody, we want to just thank Jocelyn for joining us today. Go to her website, purchase those sandals, get on the email list, and stay tuned with what's coming up. We enjoyed having her today. What a wonderful story today. Jocelyn, I'll see you in a minute, but let me go ahead and shut it down. Thank you. Yeah, I just want to remind everyone, coming up this Saturday, October 16th, is the Gullah Geechee Environmental and Energy Conference, Educate, Motivate, and Activate. We originally announced this as a hybrid event. We have decided to go all virtual because of what's happening with COVID pandemic, unfortunately. So to keep everyone safe and not be a part of the problem, because if we're entrepreneurs, we need to be part of the solution. We want to encourage everyone to go to our Facebook page, our website, GullahGeecheeFoundation.org. Sign up for the Gullah Geechee Environmental and Energy Conference. It is free. It's free, folks, and we're going to learn a lot about the culture, environment, and energy justice. And the first 100 people who sign up and who attend, you will get a gift card. You will get a gift card. We were in person going to provide lunch and babysitting services. This does free up some of our funds where the first 100 people, you will get a gift card and you can use for gas, transportation, anything you want to use it for, because our goal as we move forward and have these events, we want to lower the barriers for folks to attend these events. Hopefully in 2022, we will see each other in person. But now, if you could just go to our Facebook page, Gullah Geechee Environmental and Energy Conference, sign up now. It is a free conference, and we have a lot of individuals and organizations who will be talking to us about the culture, climate change, environmental justice, and energy justice. We're looking forward to it. Once again, we want to thank Jocelyn Patterson for joining us today. We really enjoyed it. Very, very wonderful story and informative. And y'all, go buy those sandals now. And y'all men, even if you're men, buy them because Christmas is coming and this will be a wonderful gift. Thank you, everybody. We enjoyed the show today, and we'll see you Wednesday at 4 o'clock where we'll talk some more about change makers in the Gullah community. Good night, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.